Liam knew he didn't belong here. It wasn't because of the awkward collar of his expensive yet ill-fitting jacket, but because of the palpable aura in the air that separated the world of concrete from the world of crystal. When his wife, Vivian, who everyone called Viv, invited him to her firm's annual corporate reception, Liam immediately felt the tension. Her universe was a polished surface, the corporate chic of Sterling City, where they revolved around millions, drank champagne, and juggled financial terms that were incomprehensible to him. His world, however, was steel, the roar of a jackhammer and the sweat of Brooklyn construction sites. Calloused hands and dusty boots. Those were his true calling cards. But Viv was insistent. "You are my husband, Liam. You have to be by my side," she said, and her voice held no plea, only a demand. He agreed, albeit without enthusiasm, hoping the evening would be a chance to witness her pride, not his alienation. A new suit, a fresh haircut, a forced, practiced smile. He was ready. But he had no idea that this single evening would forever change his view of the woman with whom he shared his life. The event was held in the ballroom of The Pinnacle, in a midtown skyscraper. Chandeliers, resembling frozen waterfalls, cast sparks onto the trays of waiters who circulated with exquisite appetizers that looked like works of art. Viv was stunning in a silver dress, confidently navigating the glittering crowd. She drew glances, exuded success, and was absolutely in her element. As soon as they entered, her colleagues surrounded her, showering her with compliments about her latest successful project and her elegant appearance. Liam stood nearby, a mere extra, clutching his glass, trying to blend in to the scenery. Everything was relatively calm until Bryce, her boss, approached them. A tall, overly self-assured man whose charm was merely a thin veneer of arrogance. His eyes slid over Liam, and then his arm draped over Viv's shoulders, as if she were his property. "There he is, the legendary husband," Bryce announced, and a note in his voice sent a chill down Liam's chest. "The man who makes Vivian work late," he added with a predatory smile. The group surrounding them chuckled. Liam responded with a tight smile, though the words cut deeper than glass. But the real blow was not delivered by him. Viv laughed too, a little too brightly, a little too joyfully. "Oh, Bryce, stop embarrassing him. He's not used to such glamorous parties," she said, casting a quick, appraising glance at Liam. "Liam is usually in his work boots covered in construction dust." She tossed it out with mild contempt, but loudly enough to be heard. The group giggled again, some awkwardly, others openly. Liam's jaw clenched. The offense wasn't the joke, but her tone. That smug expression on her face as she used her husband for the amusement of her elite audience. Bryce played along, winking derisively. "Well, at least he's probably a handyman around the house." Viv retorted instantly, not missing a beat. "Only if you don't mind crooked shelves," she clipped. A wave of laughter swept over them. Her laugh was the loudest. Liam gripped the glass, feeling the burning shame rise to his face. It wasn't about shelves or dust, it was about belonging, and she had just publicly distanced herself from his world. And then she uttered the sentence that snapped the last thread of his patience. She leaned in toward Bryce and quietly, but close enough for Liam to hear, murmured, "He's sweet, but honestly not very ambitious." He didn't make a scene. He didn't raise his voice. Liam simply offered a slow smile, nodded almost imperceptibly, whispered something about getting some air, and retreated into the shadow of a column. She didn't even notice his absence, consumed by her triumph. His decision was made. Barely an hour later, Liam was home. His phone vibrated. Viv's name was on the screen. Her voice was boozy, slurred with wine and carefree laughter. "Left early, darling? Was the corporate chic too much to handle?" He didn't say a word, just hit the ignore button, That night, he slept in the guest room. The anger was gone, leaving only an absolute controlled coldness. The next morning, she came into the kitchen, disheveled with heavy, guilty eyes. "Rough night?" he asked calmly, slowly sipping his strong black coffee. "Yeah," she mumbled. "I'm sorry if I said anything stupid. Everyone was just joking, you know." Her excuse was weak and habitual. He didn't reply. Instead, he turned his laptop screen toward her. On the screen, a short video clip, which had gone viral overnight, played on an endless loop. It was a snippet from the party, filmed on someone's cell phone. Viv laughing, Bryce winking, and her dismissive words, amplified by the mic, sounding crystal clear. "Only if you don't mind crooked shelves." He's sweet, but honestly not very ambitious. The video quickly spread across all social media, accompanied by comments about corporate hubris and a treacherous wife. Her face instantly paled as she watched her own laughter taken out of context. "Who posted this?" she whispered, as if it were a matter of life and death. Liam shrugged. "Does it matter? You wanted to look sophisticated, didn't you?" Within the hour, her phone began to ring off the hook. The video had reached HR. Bryce had already been called in for a discussion about professional ethics, and Viv was facing a review for inappropriate conduct. That evening, Viv returned home pale, broken, and trembling. "They said it reflects poorly on the firm's image," she whispered, her voice hollow. "Bryce is facing a demotion. They're demanding a public apology from me." Liam sat on the sofa. His expression was not of anger, but of absolute, controlled indifference. It was worse than any shouting she might have expected. "Then you should do it," he said, looking out the window. "People need to understand that mocking others, especially in public, has irreversible consequences." It wasn't advice, but a statement of fact. The next day, she published an apology. The damage was done. Her reputation at work was in tatters, but for the first time, Liam saw in her eyes not just the fear of losing status, but genuine burning shame. The silence in their apartment was not anger, but a verdict. He didn't argue, but he established a boundary. The bedroom remained hers, the guest room his. The trust was shattered, and he had no desire to glue it back together. But Viv did not give up. She realized the problem wasn't the video, but her own arrogance, which she had so easily put on display. She started step by step. She stopped using words that devalued his work. She started asking about his projects, about engineering solutions, not just dirty work. One evening, Liam returned to find a book on the history of New York architecture on his desk. Next to it was a note. "Thought you might appreciate this. No crooked shelves, I promise." He was distant. Trust is not restored in a week, and he knew this would be the hardest renovation of her life. But one Saturday morning, as Viv carefully, without gloves, helped him sand an old wooden cabinet for the guest room, he noticed her focused expression. When they finished, he leaned back, tired but satisfied with the result of their joint effort. "You know," he said, wiping the dust from his face, "I've already learned my lesson. Respect is shown not when life is easy, but when others are watching." She looked at him, at his calloused hands she had once scorned, and quietly replied, "Me too. Now I just need to learn how to earn it back, step by step." It was not the end of their story, but only the beginning of a long and difficult path toward a possible reconciliation.